Disclaimer. Please forgive me now for there may be mispronunciations in this video. Warning. There is mentioning of animals being harmed and images and clips of blood. Your discretion is advised. El Chupacabra is well known in the cryptozoology world, and may be even one of the most popular of the cryptids. This creature has been seen from Puerto Rico, South America, and the United States, from the southwestern to the eastern, even to Maine. In 2006, the Chupacabra was sighted in central Russia, reportedly killing and draining the blood of dozens of turkeys and sheep. There are reports of it being an alien, military project, a dinosaur, a humanoid, and even the devil itself. I wasn't sure if I was going to make this a big video or a couple of short videos depending on the locations, but since a big video was voted on, I will be adding the different locations in this video, but they will be organized by each location, first starting off with Puerto Rico. The Chupacabra made its debut on the World's Weird List in 1975. After a series of farm animal killings occurred in Moca, Puerto Rico. Rural villagers came forth with claims that an unidentified creature was killing their animals in the early morning hours by biting their necks. Initially, it was suspected that the killings were committed by a satanic cult. A rash of unexplained killings occurred around Orocovas in the mountainous interior of Puerto Rico, where the mutilated remains of sheep, cows, goats, dogs, chickens, and other animals were found almost daily over a period of 2 months. But the first report occurred in 1995 in Puerto Rico. The 1995 Puerto Rican newspapers featured terrifying headlines about the Chupacabra, which in Spanish the name means goatsucker, and is a good fit for its favorite food happens to be goats. The newspaper mentioned that dozens of goats, chickens, horses, and other livestock were apparently drained of their blood. 2 to 3 puncture marks were found on the victims' necks. Eyewitness Madeline Teletino believed she saw the beast firsthand and described the animal as standing on 2 legs with dark eyes, long gangly limbs, and spikes down its back. She swore it was real, but it was unlike any other animal previously described in real life. In Teletino's region, the Chupacabra is called El Vampiro de Moca. However, her case may be compromised. You see, during this time period, a movie called Species came out in the area. And Teletino saw the movie and described the Chupacabra similarly to the alien species in the movie. Still, the alien in the movie was mixed with green colors, bipedal, with wraparound eyes and spinal spikes. This theory was brought up by a Chupacabra expert, Ben Radford, and is mentioned in his book Tracking the Chupacabra. Could this be simply Teletino's subconscious mind seeing a shadowy figure that drew up from what she'd seen in the film, or did she see a real blood-sucking creature? However, this didn't stop the stories of blood-drained livestock that sprung up all over Puerto Rico. More than 1,000 animals were killed in a 1-year period. One neighborhood in Canovanas was visited by the Chupacabra every night for 4 months. Several prominent and credible citizens of Canovanas came forward with sightings of the entity that stood 5 feet high with powerful hind legs like a kangaroo, big slanted eyes, and a ridge of fins or spines running down its back. One man claimed to have chased the creature, catching it briefly, long enough to look into its mouth and see long fangs before it broke free and disappeared. Canovanas mayor eventually blamed the animal deaths on feral dogs. Another case in Puerto Rico comes from a young college student who saw the creature tear apart the family goat on a sunny afternoon. And then 2 fishermen in Puerto Rico claimed to have been chased by the creature. In November 1995, a woman claimed a Chupacabra stuck its clawed hand through her window, grabbed a teddy bear, and shredded it to pieces. Another story in 1995 happened to Mr. Melendez. He saw something by the far railing of his balcony. He quickly went into the house, but the creature stood and watched him from outside for a short time. Researcher Mark Davenport and filmmaker Joe Palermo were in Puerto Rico during the time of the attacks. They reported that El Chupacabra was in the news constantly. Texas has its fair share of Chupacabra sightings as well. Deena West Budd, writer of the Weiser field guide to Cryptozoology, wrote that she had an experience with the Chupacabra once in Texas. She was driving across the state to visit her son at Camp Pendleton. On her way, she saw something strange crossing a field and stopped her car to get out and get a better look. The creature and her stared at each other for what seemed like several minutes before it continued on its way. The creature was too far for her to identify it fully, but she knew it had no hair and its eyes were glowing. Meanwhile, in DeWitt County, Texas, Sheriff Deputy Brandon Rydell caught an animal on videotape in the daylight, running along in front of his vehicle. The creature was different than the Puerto Rican Chupacabra descriptions, and instead had short front legs and an incredibly long snout. In the summer and fall of 2004, several ranchers in Texas claimed their livestock were being killed by a creature fitting the description of Chupacabra that visits the states. You'll see what I mean further on in this video, about the differences between Puerto Rican and the state's Chupacabra. In Elmendorf, Texas, in 2005, a rancher named Mick Ainley reported something was stalking and killing his chickens. They were left completely bloodless. In one attack alone, 30 of his chickens were murdered. Mick Ainley said he saw the strange creature on 4 different occasions. The last time, it was 30 yards from him. He shot and killed it. The photos show a 4-legged animal with big teeth and skin similar to that of an elephant in both color and texture. November 2005, a motocross racer, Colt Jarrett, spotted an odd creature with spikes down its back and a weird-shaped head at the Cycle Ranch Motocross Park in Floresville, Texas. Reggie Legou, a farmer in Coleman, Texas, reported trapping a creature appearing to be a mix between a hairless dog, a rat, and a kangaroo. The animal had been killing his livestock. He sent the beast to the Texas Parks and Wildlife, but later stated that the critter was caught on Tuesday and thrown out in Thursday's trash. Another case in 2005 occurred when Ben O'Quinn and his son Tyrell discovered a hairless creature under the porch of their home in Pollock, Texas. It was a smoky gray with huge teeth and crusty skin. Ben shot and killed the beast and took pictures. Probably one of the best cases in Texas occurred in 2007, when Texas nutritionist named Phyllis Cannon had both seen and found a dead carcass of a supposed Chupacabra. It all started when Cannon's ranch kept getting raided by an unseen predator that killed 28 of her chickens, ripping out their throats. One day, Cannon stumbled upon a profoundly weird dog-like corpse on the side of the road. The first time that I saw it, I was very perplexed, Cannon said. The dog's body had tough, hairless blue skin, steel blue eyes, only 3 toes on each foot, and a pronounced overbite. She brought the Texas Blue Dog home and had it stuffed by a taxidermist, and now keeps it in her living room. She did have it tested, and according to Cannon, the blue dog seemed to be a hybrid of a coyote and a Mexican wolf. That's when an array of similar-looking blue dogs started popping up around the state. A local Houston news station asked animal control expert Claude Griffin about the matter, and Griffin said that people in the area were inbreeding different types of canines for the sheer purpose of letting them go, catching them, and claiming they found a Chupacabra. The Sunshine State has been plagued with the Chupacabra as well. The first suggested Chupacabra report found by Weird Florida appeared in 1996 newspaper article. On March 10th, in the Sweetwater district of Miami, Florida, 2 ranchers lost a total of 69 animals in a single night. The slaughter was witnessed by an elderly woman who talked about the incident publicly, though I couldn't find this confession other than in my books. On July 23, 1996, the evening news on most Florida television stations carried a story about a strange beast that was killing people's pets in South Florida and leaving behind a sulfuric smell. In Tampa, 2 men reported that a Chupacabra had killed some chickens and claimed to have seen the creature on 2 different nights. The Chupacabra has traveled even to Arizona, where in 1996, in Tucson, Arizona, the Espinoza family called 911 to report a Chupacabra was in their home and on their 7-year-old son's bed. Another report came from Tucson a few hours later. Both witnesses stated the creature was hairless and smelled like a wet dog. New Mexico doesn't only have skinwalkers. The Chupacabra has been spotted there as well. Near Alamogordo, New Mexico, cattle roper Trey Rogers saw a Chupacabra in the forest while he was playing paintball in September 2006. It was reddish-brown with spikes down its back. Rogers said it appeared to have wings on its side. He also said it was the fastest thing he had ever seen. Maine is a state pretty high up in the United States, but that hasn't stopped the Chupacabra from visiting. Dead remains of a creature described as a Chupacabra was found by a road near Milner, Maine in the summer of 2006. There had been also several more reports of sightings of this creature and unexplained dog killings in the area for many years previously. In California, an article entitled Chupacabra Sightings in California on June 30th, 1996 edition of Advocate Herald warned people in the San Diego area to call local authorities immediately if they were encounter this creature. Do not approach it and move indoors quickly and quietly as possible. Colombia has been visited by the Chupacabra during the spring of 2007. The reports came in from the area of Boyacá, Colombia, where massive numbers of sheep were found dead. Meanwhile, in Mexico, in San Paulo and Rio, locals believe the Chupacabra steals children in the poor areas of town, draining them of their blood and leaving the bodies in dirty alleys. In Mexico City, there have been reports of the beast hunting school children. In May 1996, in Mexico, a nurse reported that her arm had been severed by a Chupacabra. A farm boy from Jalisco claimed to have been attacked by the creature and had faint marks on his body. The Chupacabra may have reached Russia, but there were killings of many domestic animals and poultry in Manipur, India. It occurred in October and December 2018. The animals were killed in a suspicious manner similar to the other Chupacabra attacks, and several people reported that they had seen Chupacabras. However, forensic experts found that the street dogs were responsible for the mass killings after studying the remnants of a corpse. Physical descriptions of the creature varied from reptilian and alien-like, which mostly focused around Puerto Rico and Latin America, while in the United States it took on a more dog-like appearance. The cases where there was evidence such as hair samples or skin samples have been verified to have been canines afflicted by mange. An animal infected with mange has severe itching and hair loss. Some even have self-inflicted wounds from scratching and chewing. In advanced cases, the skin of an animal will become thicker and darker in color and their body may be emaciated. However, some still don't believe in the mange theory. For some hunters that when they hunt down coyotes, they still have their fur on them, if not a little, on their bellies and backs. But these Chupacabras have no fur. Some doctors and vets say that the ones that are completely hairless are the most severe cases they have ever seen. The reptilian Chupacabra is said to have leathery or scaly greenish-gray skin with sharp spines or quills running down its back. It is said to be around 3 to 4 feet tall and stands and hops in a fashion much like a kangaroo, and even in a few cases they have bat-like wings. The dog Chupacabra is like it sounds, looks like a strange breed of wild dog, mostly hairless and have pronounced spinal ridge, pronounced eye sockets, fangs, and claws. The color ranges from blue to gray. Now for the draining of blood. Apparently it's an exaggeration. Life science explains that whenever Chupacabra victims are autopsied, there are always plenty of blood left in the body. But what about the cases where there truly has no more blood in the body or on the ground around it? There has to be real cases when this has happened. It can't all be exaggerated. And why did the animals leave the meat behind? Most predators take the meat with them. As for the Puerto Rico and Latin American cases where the creature appears more reptilian, it could be explained with the rhesus monkeys. These monkeys are not native to Puerto Rico, but they have been brought there for research purposes in 1930s. Several dozen of them escaped. Could they be responsible for the animal killings? I did my research. Rhesus monkeys are mostly herbivores, but are also generalist omnivores. Their primary meat intake is in the form of insects, spiders, crustaceans, and bird eggs. In the wetlands, they catch and eat fish. So what could it be? An exaggeration by a woman who saw the movie Species? Rhesus monkeys that were experimented on? Or coyotes and wild dogs? What do you think of the Chupacabra? Did you like this video and want to support this channel and get early access? Feel free to check out my Patreon page where I create content on cryptids, hauntings, alien abductions, serial killers, and much more. Can't support me there? Like, comment, and subscribe here.